What's up everybody, my name is Bobby. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a head-to-head video where we're going to pit against each other the Sony XM4s and the Apple Airpod Maxes. Let's check it out. Alright, so both of these headphones are extremely popular. I'd say the Sonys are kind of the reigning champ in the headphone world if we're talking the couple $100 wireless noise canceling headphones. The AirPods, the regular AirPods, have been wildly successful over the last couple of years, and this is Apple's first venture into over-the-ear headphones. Now, with most Apple premium products comes that premium price tag, so I wouldn't quite say price point wise these are completely, head to head. But these are two headphones that I see people bringing up a lot of the time when it comes to the conversation of kind of entry-level, high-end headphones, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to make this video kind of giving you guys my thoughts on both of them. I've used the Sonys for a couple years now. As far as the AirPod Maxes, I've been testing them for a little while now as well, and being a normal AirPod user, I feel like I can bring a little bit of context to those as well. So I guess the first place to start from would be the price point of both these headphones. So when we're talking the Sonys, when these guys are not on sale, they start at $349, and you will often find them on sale. Most of the time they're under $300. I've seen them dip pretty low, to be honest. But that's kind of what you should expect if you're looking for the XM4s. Now, as far as the AirPod Maxes, these guys are at $549. I don't believe I've ever seen them on sale, and depending on where you live, the tax for that can make them anywhere up to like $600, like where I live. So significantly more expensive. Now, does something warrant that? That's another part of the video that we'll touch on in a little bit, but as far as price point, that's what you would be looking for both of these. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about was the build quality of both of these guys. If we're talking the Sony XM4s, they definitely have a solid build quality to them. There's nothing really super substantial though about like the weight. When they're on your head, they feel super light. They do have really, really nice leather ear cushions along with like kind of like a leather padding along the top up here. Probably the softest headphones I've tried on. The actual button layout, there's a headphone jack down on the bottom, USB-C for charging, a power button along with kind of like a custom changing functionality button on the side as well that allows you to do a whole myriad of things. It's not like an overwhelming button layout, but it's definitely not underwhelming either. I'd say it's kind of a perfect blend. When you put them on your head, they definitely feel super comfortable. They are adjustable. I can wear them for hours at a time and they don't tend to feel heavy or hurt my ears like other over-the-ear headphones have in the past. As far as build quality goes, I wouldn't say it's super hefty, but it's very solid and the perfect blend between good high quality materials and not being too heavy or bulky or anything in that regard. Now, when it comes to the AirPod Max, these guys are significantly heavier when you hold them in your hand. If you feel these I think they're aluminum, these cups that they have on the side, they feel significantly more sturdy. I mean, like I feel like I could really bang this into something and it would definitely hold up. I don't know if that's true, but at least as far as the ear cups go, they feel very, very premium. Along with this stainless steel looking kind of like joint that allows you to kind of adjust the size of them. The kind of tension that you get too when you adjust them, it's definitely significant as well. It's not like super easy to where when you slide them on your head, just the weight of the cups would cause it to adjust differently. You have to really give it some force to do that. As far as the headband itself, this is probably the least durable part of the whole thing in my opinion. This kind of mesh fabric right here, it feels like what you might find on like the back of an office chair or some other kind of like really not too sturdy mesh kind of backing. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like if I snagged this on the wrong thing, it would absolutely rip without a shadow of a doubt. I'm curious to see what people report the longer they have these things, how well this holds up. It does hold its form surprisingly well. I'm not sure if there's like wire in there or just the way that the fibers are woven. I don't really know how it's holding that kind of contoured shape. As far as durability of the headband goes, it doesn't really inspire a lot of confidence in my opinion. Now, as far as the button layout, you have a lightning port, so it's not USB-C. You can use any iPhone charger to charge it. It does have a digital crown similar to what you would find on an Apple Watch, so if you own an Apple Watch, that'll feel familiar. And then it has one button right here that kind of adds a little bit of functionality as well. Super simple, very aesthetically pleasing. I've noticed people say that they don't like the way that the cans look, if you will. I personally really like it. I think it looks super sick. They come in a ton of different colors as well. One other thing I didn't touch on is the ear cups. So with a lot of premium headphones, the more you wear them over time, these leather ear cups start to crack and they start to fray and you know, if they're not removable of any sort, then you're just kind of out the money you spent on them. And if you want to get new ear cups, you got to get a new set of headphones. With the Airpod Maxes, however, though, they made it really easy to interchange these ear cups. They literally just pop out magnetically. The inside still just as, you know, aesthetically pleasing as you might imagine. And then you go ahead and snap it in and there's zero friction or, you know, stress around the matter. They're not falling out on their own, but they're not hard to remove. They even have a little L and R kind of you know, woven into the actual inside of the ear cup so you know which side to put it on. Very impressive design in my opinion. The only downside I would say is probably that headband. Now, one of the things to kind of note is neither of these headphones are technically IP rated. Neither of them are really recommended to wear when working out or wear in the rain or those type of uses. And being that I live in Seattle, not super convenient. So what I end up doing most of the time is using my AirPods for any sort of like working out or any sort of, you know, walking around in public, especially when it's raining all the time here. I find that a little bit easier just to kind of not be affected by that, if that makes sense. It is a little bit of a bummer. I haven't really tried running with either of these. I don't know which one would hold up. I've heard kind of horror stories for both, and they're both really expensive headphones, so I don't really want to ruin them by doing that. But anyway, I just figured that was something I should mention. One other little tidbit too, the XM4s, they actually do have an aux port right down here, so if you do want to wire in the headphone, you do have that option, whereas the AirPod Maxes do not have that option. Hey guys, Bobby from the future here. So turns out as I was recording this video, I didn't hit record on the clip that I thought I did, talking about the transparency mode and the noise cancellation of the two different headphones. So I'm going to give you the gist of it real quickly right here. Basically, when it comes to noise cancellation, the Sonys are significantly better. I tried this myself. I had my girlfriend try it out. Both of us completely agreed that the Sonys have better noise cancellation. So if you're taking them on a plane or you just need to zone out any audio depending on where you are, definitely recommend the Sonys. Now, when it comes to transparency mode, the Sonys do have some sort of transparency mode feature. By the way, for those of you who don't know what transparency mode is, it basically uses the microphones on the outside of the headphones to allow in audio from your surroundings. So if you're walking around, you can hear what's going on. So say you're on a run or something like that, you can hear if a car is coming up behind you, something like that. So when it comes to transparency mode, the Apple AirPod Maxes I definitely think are significantly better. This is a feature that I use all the time on my AirPod Pros, and I think it's phenomenal. They definitely knock it out of the park with the AirPod Maxes. All of the extra microphones in those headphones make it phenomenal, and it's way easier to use too. There's something to be said about the kind of magic that Apple has as far as just ease of use of switching between these features. Just thought I'd throw this little clip in there so you knew what I was talking about. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Back to the program. Okay, so now that I've talked about the actual design of these headphones, I've talked about the noise cancellation and the transparency mode of these guys, I think the next big one that I want to talk about is actually the sound quality. If you're buying headphones, especially ones this nice, you probably want to make sure they sound good. Now, I'm no high-end audiophile. I do have a lot of experience working in like the home theater department at Best Buy, especially in the audio side of things. I've heard a pretty wide spectrum of really hi-fi audio. I do have a pretty good ear, I'd like to think, for what sounds better than what. And when it comes to these two particular ones, it's, in my opinion, no question the XM4s sound better. Even my girlfriend, who's not into this stuff by any stretch of the imagination, I showed her both of these. I've showed her both of them from different times when I got them. I showed her the Sonys and played the same song on this one as I did on the Airpod Maxes. Being someone that doesn't care about it at all, she told me without a shadow of a doubt these guys sound better as well. And she also felt like the noise canceling was better on this one too, because I was kind of demoing that for her when I was showing it to her. That's not to say that these don't sound good, and there's a really interesting kind of thing to think about when it comes to the Airpod Maxes. While right now, when it comes to transferring audio over Bluetooth, the Sonys I would definitely think have the edge in my opinion, but Apple announced that they're doing their new hi-fi audio. Now, in order to get lossless audio, you can't transmit that high quality of a file over Bluetooth. It really has to do with Bluetooth being the bottleneck in this situation. But I've seen a lot of interesting rumors that Apple might use their AirPlay technology to be what transfers the audio between a pair of headphones like this and a device. So being that the AirPods would connect to the device from Bluetooth, so that's how the initial pairing is done. And then when they're transmitting lossless audio, which are these much higher resolution files that you can't transfer over Bluetooth, you basically have a Wi-Fi connection between the iPad or iPhone or iOS device and the AirPods. And so it's using the same band as Wi-Fi just between the two, even if you're not home on a Wi-Fi network. It's using those same, radios, if you will. I don't even know the proper word for it, but it's using that higher frequency, higher bandwidth connection to transmit lossless audio. So you have the first wireless, high-res, hi-fi, lossless headphone situation. I don't know if that's going to happen. I've only heard speculation around that. But if that does happen, I think that would give that a significant benefit to the AirPods. I think it would give it much more justification for that $550 price tag. Because right now, if you look at these two and you compare all these features, other than just the clout that you get from wearing something like an Airpod Max, I don't really understand why you would go for it. I mean, even the clout per se, if that's what you want to call it, it's almost like overblown out at this point, to be honest, where it's like, I love this stuff. I'm the biggest Apple fan I know. But when I see someone wearing these in public, it's like almost the way I feel when I see people wearing like nothing but like Louis or Gucci. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like overtly just trying to flex on someone, and it doesn't really like, I don't know, it just kind of bugs me a little bit. So maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just getting older. I don't know. Maybe people will, totally disagree with that sentiment. But I feel like right now these are extremely overpriced. As much as I want them, as much as I love them, these aren't even mine, to be honest. These are my friend Thomas's, who let me borrow them for this video. I really would like to get a pair of Apple over-the-ear headphones, but I think I'd probably wait until I find out what of those other possible new features or benefits might be coming to them. The last thing I wanted to touch on real quick before I sign off has to do with the case that they both come with. This would be the one for the Airpod Max. It's the controversial bra case that people tend to hate pretty heavily. You go ahead and you slide them into this little guy. You close it like so. There they are in this guy in some low power mode. Whereas with these Sonys, you get this really nice hard shell case. Very good for travel. I personally prefer the Sony case. That's just me. A few other things I want to touch on. I know this video is super out of order, but I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. As far as ease of control, when it comes to using an AirPod with an Apple product, there's very few things that are as easy as pairing them and using them together. These AirPods, they're so nice to a point where no matter what device I'm using, if I pick them up, put them on my head, and interact with the device, it pairs with it. And then the second I take it off, it knows that, unpairs, goes back, plays stuff out loud, back and forth all the time. I used them to edit last week's video, and it was perfect for it. They're so phenomenal as far as how they connect and interact with your devices. Now, as far as your ability though to manipulate or control anything about it, it's ridiculous. There's no way to actually officially turn these off. There's some method where if you leave them in the case for a certain amount of time, then they'll turn off, or I don't know. There's some kind of method to where it automatically does stuff like that. You can't turn them off if you want to, so that's kind of weird to me personally. The Sonys, however, pairing them to your device, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So you initially do the first pairing, which is kind of a pain. It's not quite as seamless as pairing an Apple set of headphones to an iOS device. But once you get them paired, every time I just hold the power button and hold on, you have them over your ear, it says like Bluetooth paired, and it instantly pairs to whatever device you're using. I believe there's a feature too with these where you can have them paired to multiple devices simultaneously, and it'll switch between which device you're in, which is pretty similar to something like this. I don't believe it quite works as seamless, but you know, that is something that you can do, and I believe that's one of the new features you get with the XM4s versus the XM3s. But yeah, I think that just about covers it. If it was up to me, I would say probably go with the Sonys for now, and then if Apple does kind of release some new huge game-changing audio feature, then maybe we could revisit this then. But overall, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. I put out videos every single Thursday, so if you'd like to see more content like this or just anything tech related, to be honest, make sure you stay tuned to the channel. If you like the video, please like it and leave a comment down below which one of these two you would personally prefer. Last thing I wanted to touch on is I have two ongoing giveaways. One of them I'm giving away an AirTag. The other one I'm giving away a Belkin MagSafe magnetic car mount. So if you're interested in either of those, definitely check the links down in the description and be sure to enter those giveaways for free. It costs you nothing, takes like 5 seconds. But yeah, that about does it for this week's video. Shout out to my boy Thomas for letting me borrow these headphones to make this video, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week. Peace.